Hey, my name is Tushar Leela. You can call me T. So, what you're looking right here, this is these are some of my works, and of course, I feel like this is the type of work I was recently looking at them, and then I felt, I felt boring because when I usually make work, it's huge. It creates an impression. It feels like, oh, there's something over here, and it creates a presence. But this type of work, it doesn't really draw me in. It doesn't say anything to me in the sense of sensorial impact, right? So I always thought that this is my best work, and it's very strange because it's not really creating a huge effect or anything like that. But we'll come back to that. What I wanted to say is, so I was asking ChatGPT, how can I make it? Like, I'm sick of this. I know that I deserve better. I know I know what I have managed to accomplish in art, and I think it's about time that I make it. So let me just try to explain this kind of practice because a lot of the time when I talk about my work, people are like, stop talking, show me your work. And then they look at my work and then they try to compare. They try to compare with what they have seen before. Like, for example, you see a drawing like this and then you say, oh, okay, that's an old master study. And oh yeah, so many people do that. Okay, what's new? Nothing. Okay, cool, bye. And you close that. But then you look at work like that, right? And then it makes no sense to you. And then you just dismiss it saying, okay, there's nothing new. Bye. But you see, you see that there is something happening here, something that hasn't happened yet, or something that has probably never happened before in the realm of visual art. And I believe, like over here, that's my daily sight. My success is imminent, inevitable. I made it. Ever since I was a kid, we've been dreaming of like really high value lifestyles. There's like a Lamborghini toy here and RC helicopter. I'm sorry, I'm going off topic, but my idea is like, ever since I was a kid, we were told that you're going to have a private jet at 18. You're going to, and I always thought, okay, I need a island, and it's going to be in the Caymans, and it's really helpful for me because if I conduct my art transactions there, instead of paying a huge part of my income tax will go if I conduct if I do the title transfer in the Cayman Islands, or other duty free zones. So there are many other places, but ever since I was a child, that's what I've dreamt of. And maybe I wanted to make this a very short video, but now that I'm here speaking, it's going to be a little longer. So from from the time I was young, we have had all these dreams, and for that we've sacrificed much, we've suffered much. But maybe let me take you back to where all of this comes from. So I think I might have told you many times before that my family used to perform for the Vijayanagar Empire. And what that means is, of course, you're performing Nritya, you're doing drama, you're doing singing, Natya's drama, Nritya. Of course, I'm a dancer, but then my mother's a dancer, my cousin sister's a dancer. One of my cousins had painted the girl with the pearl earring, did quite well. And my grandfather acted in films, one with Rajnikant. I saw the film recently. And he wanted to be a big director. He also sacrificed a lot, and he came from abject poverty, the kind of poverty where you don't have any food to eat, so you have to drink water and sleep, the whole lot of you, 7, 8, 9, 10 children, and a mother because the father had committed suicide. Trigger warning. So that kind of poverty to the point where I don't have to work right now. I can focus on my art and I can focus on bigger dreams. Of course, I'm not in the most favorable position either. And of course, even I had the days when I did not have food and I had to brave the streets or whatever, and I had to bark back at dogs that came at me. And this is not new, right? You look around and this is the story. But then throughout these years I've also built up my knowledge in terms of, let me just put it this way, like I'm an academically gifted person. I've clearly displayed signs of some kind of prodigious genius, and I'm not really going to boast about it because I didn't make much use of it. I'm still very broke right now, and I haven't made much of my life in terms of material or social success. I've sought out truth, enlightenment in many forms, from monastic settings to forest livings, and usually in a quote unquote Hindu life, you do that at the end of your, in the evening of your life or in the night of your life when you're old. But ever since I was young, I just had to leave home, and then I had to make the barefoot journey, hitchhiking, all of that, just to understand what society is, what the world is, what truth is, and of course, reading text, the all of that. That was my childhood, and I think that's very important for an artist. If you want to be a good artist, you have to be preoccupied with this to a certain extent. So why am I telling you all of this? I feel like for that purpose, I have completely undergone a transformation in good company, I think. And when people want to be cultural icons, one of the first things they do is they get a new name. They change their name, they claim their destiny. So I changed my name from Tushar to Tushar Leela Malige Hosur. And that's a 23 letter name. I was born on the 23rd. We lived in house number 203, right in Wilson Garden. In front of that, there was this building. And I used to stare at that building and think, this building is lying empty over here. It's being used for random thing. I want to make this building mine. I want to paint it yellow. I want to display all of my work. And let me just put it this way, I decided that I might not get success, but I want to know what art is. So I kept experimenting, and I did not start off with traditional art. I started off with postmodernist art, the kind that Jackson Pollock would have done in modernism, but more performative, more conceptual. So that's where I started. And now I'm going back to traditional art a little bit because it's interesting, or it gives me new insights. But that is not where my practice has culminated. I believe that this notation based practice is my accomplishment, and it's the future of art. Why do I say this? Because we always have this way of talking about art nowadays as if it's subjective. Art is subjective. Whatever someone interprets, that's the truth. And there's no absolute truth. And I don't believe in that. Because if somebody like Shankaracharya can say Aham Brahmasmi as absolute truth, or in Zen traditions, if someone asks, does the dog have Buddha nature? And Joshua can say Moo, then I believe that there is absolute truth. And just because we can't articulate it doesn't mean it's not there. And just because people argue doesn't mean there is no right thing or a right answer. And I have been working towards this quest of articulating truth. Imagine that you could write down truth in a way that it's it's truth itself. Like you're not writing about truth. You have written truth. So that is something I found in mathematics, because I I was always under the fear. Everyone told me, as an artist you're going to struggle, you're going to be hungry, so look for something else. And that's why I took design, I tried engineering, I tried pure maths, I even applied to MIT. I just kept trying to look for an escape or another path. But now um I've more or less kind of given up on everything else, because I know that this is what I'm meant to do with my life. And what I mean is not the stuff that I leave behind, not the works that I throw out, because so much of my work has already been thrown out. There was no space to keep that work. And this came because I heard once that Picasso made 50,000 works, and I said, wow, I need to catch up. I need to make more than that, because I want to be the greatest artist. There's no doubt about that in my mind. I want to be known as the greatest artist, not only be that, because I feel like I am the greatest artist right now. And like how Van Gogh says, if I am worth something later, then I'm worth something now. So I already know who I am. But how do I get that treatment while I'm alive? Because I feel like in our country we always wait until someone is gone and then we celebrate them, or we wait until they're really old and then we start rewarding them a little bit. And what are you going to do with that money when you're old? What are you going to do with that welfare, with their social prestige, after a life of suffering has erased every trace of happiness from your life, and then you go and reward them. I don't know. I want to beat that. I want to change that system, or I want to set a new precedent, because some people like Shakespeare, they were celebrated while they were alive. And I think that's what I want. I want to be celebrated while I'm here, not after I'm gone. So there's this abstract universe that we construct. And I told one of these gallerists recently that, there's a very huge difference between the work that you've seen in my work. And the brilliance is that my work is happening in the same universe. And then he just laughed and said, all of our work is happening in the same universe, and dismissed me, and that was it. But what I really did not manage to convey is the mathematical universe. I'm not talking about um, all of this Brahmanda. I'm talking about creating a mathematical universe where what I write actually makes sense in what I have drawn, and what I have drawn makes sense in how I dance. So there's a very natural connection between all of the art forms that I practice. If I'm singing about something, if I'm rapping about something, then it has references to what I have drawn. And from that, you can find the real meanings of that in the book I've written. So it's like you're trying to be a total artist. In German, there's this Gesamtkunstwerk, the total work of art. And that's my life, Tushar Leela. So so when I say that I want a 23 letter named, I keep going to the Leela Palace, which is at 23 Old Airport Road. And my intention is I'm going to buy that. And I'm going to have it. I keep visualizing this thing, Tushar Leela, permanent resident at the Leela Palace, Bangalore. And that's going to be in the papers. That's what my mission is. That's what my mission is. It's my vision. It's what I've been doing. So, with all of this, there's this idea of advanced art in Gita Kapoor. And I was doing this before I read it. But once I read it, I found that it was really good to explain what exactly I'm doing. Because there's this idea that if you have the most advanced technology, then, as a culture, as a nation, as a people, you get some kind of political and social privilege, power. And that works in art too, because if you think, where did modernist art come from, where did postmodernist art come from, what kind of art was coming from our grassroots? If you think about all of this and you place it against this question of kala or craft, then you really begin to wonder, is this idea of art even Indian? Can you have art that is Indian? Because when I go around and people see something that creates a good effect on your eyes, or it sounds pleasing, then they say, oh, that's beautiful, that's art, and that's color. And when something is jarring, when something is discordant, then people are like, what the hell? That's garbage. That's not art. And then you put two and two together, and then you have Marzio Catalan's banana taped on the wall, which is like a shout out to R. Mutt's toilet in the gallery when you just place the toilet. Marcel Duchamp, right? So when you place all of this in the public's eye and say this is art, they do not fully comprehend the meaning. But then when you attach a price tag to that, they're like, whoa, okay. And then it creates that aura, because we are living in a capital driven society where your idea of success and your idea of utopia is so tied to what money means, what money is, and how much money you're making, how much is it worth. So imagine in this market, there's an artist who says, I'm selling for 23 crore rupees. And what happens? So when I go to the gallerist and I said, this is what I'm doing, the first question is 23 lakhs. I said, no, 23 crores. They just stop, and then, who the hell do you think you are? When I did something like this in NGMA, बड़ा आदमी बनना चाहता है क्या? When I did a performance piece, a gorilla performance piece in the postmodernist sense. So I've been kind of, everyone's been slamming the door on me, and there's this idea that 23 crore rupees is a lot of money. And let me just hold that thought for a second. 23 crore rupees is a lot of money for us, but why? If I convert that to dollars, how much is that? 2.6 million, or around that, less than 3 million? How much money is there in the world? How much do footballers make? How much do actors make, how much do politicians take, how much do people all around the world, celebrities, singers, rappers, how much do they make? In what currency do they make? How did the global economics get so skewed? And how much gold was taken from our country? How much of our sacred relics are lying there? How much revenue is being generated because our artifacts are somewhere else? If you take all of this into consideration, is 23 crore rupees a lot of money? Because if I need like 7,000, 8,000 crores to buy the Leela Palace, if I need 26 million to buy, maybe 30 million to buy an island, and maybe like double that so that I can build a house there to make it livable. If I start thinking about this, if I need to buy a private jet, then how much does it cost? If I start adding up these costs, I want to watch Jacob and Co. Tourbillons from Year of Dragon 24, and it might cost me 38 crores to put something on my left wrist. So when I start doing all of this, 23 crores is not a lot of money. But why does a Basquiat sell for that much? Why does a Picasso sell for that much? Why does Andy Warhol's work sell for that much? And if you really interact with how the Indian diaspora has given us art, if you look at the kind of art that like maybe somebody like J. Swaminathan makes, and you can see that some element of the folk son of J. Swaminathan's here. I'm quite influenced by all of these thinkers because I'm an intellectual artist. And if I think about the kind of work that Gaitonde makes, is it less than a Rothko? If I've never seen a Rothko in real life, but I know what an abstract work is, and I know what a good abstract work is. So, is it less than that? Why is it that our art sells for so low, and why is it that all of these gallerists are okay with it? Why do they not see the real value of Indian art and Indian artists? Because do they realize that 23 crores is not that much? Do they realize that by stopping me, by saying, who do you think you are to sell for that much? Gaitonde doesn't sell for that much. Well, he should. They should sell for that much because they are good. It's like we've been whipped on our back so much that we tell ourselves we are not worth money. We are not worth the money that everybody else gets. And there's a reason for that, right? Because we don't have that. We can fix that by starting our movement. We can stop selling for so cheap. Because just because we sell for cheap doesn't mean they are going to sell for cheap. They will buy our works and then they will sell it at a higher price and make a profit. That's pretty much how this is going to go. And this is pretty much how it's been going on. So when somebody like me comes up and tries to make a change, why stifle that growth? Why not see the opportunity? Because see, the galleries that I've been going to, they have been running from since before I was born. But they still pay rent to run the gallery. And for me, that's insane. It's a great disservice because if I sell for 23 crore rupees, I'm going to make sure that you get the gallery for yourself. Why should you pay rent? Why should you undersell? Why should you display work that is not art? Like literally, I don't even know if anyone knows what art is anymore because everyone's going around saying art is subjective, and then they write really confusing things about art. But then I haven't met anyone who can say for sure this is art, this is not art, and this is the reason why. It's like the objective sense in you has gone. You've given up in the sense of like everything is subjective, everything goes. I don't know anymore, and then everyone's closed their eyes, closed their ears, and they don't know what to say. And I'm right here showing you something like absolute truth in the objective sense, and I can tell you what art is. So I do have some, power right now, and that's because of how much I've risked. I think how much I keep telling myself, if you're really blessed, then there is no risk. There was no other choice. I did not have choices. I had to do this. I had to be in this path because I knew it for sure. So now I'm here, and I think that is my call. So maybe going back to the kind of art I was making, it was a lot of that decorative effect. it was a lot of visual style copying. Like if somebody made something, I want to try to understand why did they make it. I was copying them, I was studying them, and for a while, for a couple of years, I have my own thing. It's not a style. It's not it's not I'm not, because that's what the market wants you to do. They want you to have a style, so that as soon as they look at your work, they're going to say, oh, that's your work, that's your style. No, that's not art. Again, you're faking something for a like, for a pat on the back, for an award, for a career, and that's not truth. So this is not a style. This is a completely new approach to art. It's an art that says, yes, we can have objective art. Yes, I can give you truth in the most mathematical sense. Yes, I can understand the world and I can solve the hard problem of consciousness. And I can give you these solutions so that it is compatible with the dynamics in physics. Something, it's not astrology. I'm not trying to predict the future. I'm not a quack trying to do some pseudoscientific thing. I'm trying to tell you that, hey, look, we have all these answers, but they're not entirely compatible with scientific theories. But then neither is like a scientific theory actually true. And just because we have written papers about it, or just because you can't understand it, doesn't mean there is any truth to it. For example, just the simple problem of causality, that one thing causes another. That itself, for me, I have not found a single proof that can do that. Even if you write a proof, it's going to be a little circular. It's going to say causality is true because through this causal framework, we're going to say that we have this experiment, we have this evidence, and that's why causality is true. But then you don't know if causality is true, and you can't prove it scientifically. Yet, every day, legal judgments are passed on questions of art, on questions of life and death, on questions of crime, on questions of money. Every day, the judiciary system passes judgments, and then they're going to use causality implicitly. But then you don't even know it's true. So, in such a world of chaos, where is real art going to come from? And if you had real art right in front of you, would you even know it? What would you do? Would you invest in me or not? Like for example, you can see those are some sculptures that I've made. And this came to me because we were doing a workshop, and there was this idea of making art from trash. It's very strange because for me, I have had not I've not accessed many materials. I don't think I've ever done anything on a single canvas. And that's strange because you want to make high value art, then you do oil paintings. And if you think about someone like me who hasn't used a canvas, you're like, what kind of an artist are you? Because that's the typical, if you say artist, someone pompously standing in front of a canvas, that's what comes to the image. But then there was a time in my life when I did not have anything. And I told myself, I'm going to continue making art. What do I need? I need a stick and I need sand. If sand is on the ground and there is a stick in my hand, that's enough. I can use my fingers, but a stick was a little more precise in certain sense. So when you don't have any materials to make art, then I think that's when the true abstraction comes in. Because if I keep representing something, if I keep copying something, if I keep drawing something, then it's a little haram too, because it's like I'm trying to compete with nature, I'm trying to compete with God, I'm trying to do something that maybe I will obviously fail at. No matter how much, how realistically I draw something, there's something I'm going to miss. And that's fine. That's how art works. But then when you don't have anything, when you don't have any material, I feel like that's the true, it's like pure intellect. It's like pure abstraction. And that's the kind of art that mathematics gave me. Because at the end, even they're also playing with images, right? You have some symbols which stand for other symbols. Like I say 2 plus 3 is 5, and then I say 5 minus 3 is 2. And when I put all of these formulae together, I create this universe where 2, 3, 5 exist as entities. Otherwise, they're just lines that Just like how what I'm saying is nonsense, and you attach these meanings, and then you create narratives, you create a universe. So similarly, that's where this art comes in, because now you understand what I mean when I say I create a universe. Just when I have these entities, they're not a universe. Like if I say Malige Global, or if I have PCC, FCG, these are all symbols. So you can think about this kind of work as an equation or a puzzle, and then the solution to this puzzle is like 2 plus x is equal to 5. What is x? And then your solution is going to be 3, right? In most cases, in a particular number system, with particular rules of addition, all of that. But I'm just saying, okay, you have a kind of an idea of the solution of what is going to be. So when you put these kind of works together and then you create that solution in your head, you get this feeling that you're in communion with God. At least I get the feeling that divinity is in communion with me, because I've understood my own divinity. And in that moment, between God and I, there is no barrier, there is no difference or distinction. So it's almost like a threshold of meaning, like a little bit of meaning, a little bit of meaning. It keeps building up, and then suddenly that flood of meaning. I feel like that's the anandam, or that's the ecstasy of self-realization. So when I'm saying that the self-realized state is absolute truth and objective truth, then that's what I mean through these all of these symbols. All of these give you that solution. But then you have to, I think, put in the effort, or you have to start matching the kind of rigor and fervor that I have, the kind of approach to art that I have. And I don't know when it's going to happen, but let's just go back to these sculptures at the top. So maybe that comes from, you might have heard of Amway or Brit Worldwide, and I was born in this place. So you think about how my grandfather was raised in abject poverty, and then you're just a middle class family, and all of these dreams came to me as a child. There was no internet access. There was no um, capitalism as a driving force did not enter my consciousness. Let's just put it that way. And it was only through Amway and Brit Worldwide that all of these books, like you can see some of these books over here, and we had like shelves and shelves of these books. Bring out the magic in your mind, how to win friends, influence people, get smart, think like a leader, develop the leader within, the 10-minute coach, top performance, your atomic habits type, self-help, self-help, manifest, think and grow rich. All of these books were there, and as a kid I used to just read all of them. And that's kind of why I got that self-belief, or that's why I kind of put it in my mind that, hey, I'm going to be one of the richest people ever. I'm going to have this private jet, I'm going to have this private island. And everything that seemed like, they said durase, greed, excess desire, it never seemed like excess to me. It almost seemed like these are things that I'm destined for. It's like, this is mine. I don't know why someone is going to call it greed, because I'm not reaching for more than what is due to me. I'm only saying, when you're a child, you're innocent. You do not know greed. You do not know the impact a private jet is going to have on the environment. As you grow older, you do get to understand these things. So now I'm grappling with the guilt that, hey, I got all of these desires, but hey, they might not all be good. But then I can't let them go, because I feel like they were put in at such a young age that I'm just like, they are me. Do you understand? Because these are not desires that I have, but I've almost confused them for my personal identity. And that's what I'm playing out in this abstract world of my art. And every year, or almost every day, I've been going with the fervor, the same ardent passion to say, I'm going to make it today, I'm going to make it this week, I'm going to make it this month, this year. And then this has been going on for a while. So I even told myself, if I don't make it by so and so, then I'm not going to be alive anymore. And yet I'm here. Yet I believe that, okay, I can still make it, I can still turn things around. So Yeah, if you look at that, that's some of my work that I've been storing, and it's pretty deep. Imagine that in each of these boxes, there's a paper stacked on another paper, on another paper, on another paper. Just think about that for a second. So I'm saying I'm going to sell all of each of that for 23 crore rupees. And isn't that a bit insane in a market like this, when just to make my name out go out there as an artist, I need to do a show. And what do I need for that? I need to have a low price tag. I need to have a signature, quote unquote, signature style that is different from whatever people did before me. Not that I don't have those things, but then I also need to pretend like I'm so obsessed with it that I'm going to keep doing this style for the rest of my life. And I need to go to these gallerists and say, hey, I want to do a show, this is my work, this is my concept. I need to try to convince them. And then I need to have like a shared space. I need to share my space with other people, and then slowly I need to sell for thousands, and then I need to build it up to a lakh, and then I need to have a portfolio, and then by then I'm already what, 45, 50. I'm not going to ever break through to like maybe 2 crores, 3 crores. How am I going to get my Leela Palace? How am I going to buy that place? How am I going to get a private island? How am I going to get a jet? And everyone tells me you're aiming too high. You need to start with thousands and lakhs, and that's when you can get to crores. But you're not seeing that I need 7,000, 8,000 crores. I need to buy the Leela Palace. I need to get a private island. And for that, 23 crores is a small amount. It is my starting point. And it's not like people out there don't have that much money. That's my point. Because people before me have done it, and people after me are going to do it. It's just that, will I do it or not? Will I do it today? Will I do it tomorrow? Or will I do it next year? I don't know how this is going to play out, but I'm not giving up. I'm not going to switch sides. I'm already too deep into this. And there's also a question of, why do you deserve it and not us? I'm not stopping you, right? I'm never going to say, hey, don't dream. Hey, don't do this. I'm never going to say, I always tell people, why are you selling for so low? And they say, how can you dare to sell so high? And I can dare, but it doesn't mean I've sold it. The moment I do, I will have the answer for you. I will tell you, because I never sold. I did not sell for less. But there was a point in my life when I was giving my art away for free. You have to understand that that's how an artist thinks. If somebody really loves my work, then please let them have it, because they like it. My artwork likes them, and I used to give it for what, 11 rupees, 10 rupees. This is serious. And after a while, once I realized that this is what I want, I started saying, you give me 23 rupees, or you give me 230 rupees, or you give me 2300. Because my whole approach to money completely changed. I didn't care about money in that sense, because what is life to me without that kind of a success? And the only way I can get closer to that success is by pretending that 23 rupees was 23 crores. When somebody makes a payment, I send 423 or 20. Like, I keep obsessing over this same concept and the same idea in my life, because I feel like I'm pretending. They say fake it till you make it. And I just keep pretending that I'm living my ideal life. Even if things are not ideal, I sort of tweak it to sort of resonate with the ideal life that I have in my vision. I sort of go along with it, go pretending, and then keep pretending. And sometimes I end up believing it, and then I wake up, and then I'm like, oh, wait, we're still here. We're still looking at the same disgusting sights. We're still living the same disgusting life. But I quickly try to switch back and then go pretending again. So I keep writing to people. I used to send so many emails. I used to go to all of these art events, science events. I used to try to get my name out there. I need to be seen. I need to find a sponsor. I need to find a patron. There was this whole, like, every place that I go, something happens and then I stop going. Like NGMA, I used to go and then they kicked me out. And then I said, I'm not going to come back ever to this place until you show my work or you want to show my work. And I didn't go back. With Gallery Sumaka, they insulted me, and then I don't feel like dealing with them anymore. And then, like, the same thing happened. So many galleries are there in Level Road, and they just like sort of laugh at my vision or scoff at my vision. I don't want to go there. And with Map, they let me down so many times. Like Museum of Art and Photography, I love that place. I bought a membership. I went there religiously, drawing that place. But then, they rejected my visual art. They rejected my. Um, I really needed to do this huge project called K24. If you think about the global climate crisis, if you think about people's isolation, if you think about people lacking meaning in their life, then throughout the ages, India has had a solution for that, and that is craft. If you think about Gandhi's idea of Swarajya, or even the cottage industry. So my project was called Kadigat 2024. And there's this idea. Think about the phone that you're holding right now. Just think about the environments that you're living in. Where does your water come from? If you flush down in your toilet, then where does it go? What kind of gases are being emitted into the environment as a result of that? Should it not have been going to the earth? Because from the earth we got our food, and to the earth we need to send the nourishment back. And why are waterways polluted? What kind of toilets should we have actually? What kind of systems of governance should we have? Think about the entire world that we've built around us for a second. What would that be if, we pray to God? If really that kind of God had made the world around us, and that kind of God loved crafting it, then what would that world be? Why do I want a Hermes watch? Why am I chasing some kind of a private jet, for example? Why do I need something that people call luxury? And why is it not only me? Why is it that everyone around me is chasing the same damn things? What kind of advertisers are making us feel empty and meaningless in our lives that we have to chase these things that everybody else is chasing? And because all of us are chasing, they are priced at a certain level. And when they come to our hand, how long do they last? Because a footwear when I was young, or a scooter from when I was 10 years old, or the jacket that my grandfather wore, when I still look and feel the material, and then I go and look at maybe a Balenciaga right now, what is the difference between that? Why did Hermes, a luxury maison house, have to make so many retail stores? Why is luxury becoming a diluted product? What is luxury? What does luxury even mean? If you really think about all of these questions, and I've thought about it extremely deeply ever since I was maybe 16, 17, 18. Of course, as a child, I've been thinking about that, but it wasn't deep enough. The incisive depth started coming then. And for me, the solution was that we need to really reconsolidate and get our craft community, because we have neglected them. If you take a basket that was woven on the road, right, and they're selling it for 100 rupees, can you make that a luxury item and sell that for a couple of crores? I'm asking a very serious question, because someday you might actually see that on the market and you're going to think, huh, I did not consider that. But for me, that's a very serious question, because something like that is done by hand. You don't want a machine made product, you want somebody who's made something with love. And when you're using the product or whatever, you don't want to just use the product, you want to feel the phone that I'm holding in my hand is an opportunity for me to get close to God. Every moment of my life, I get to be one with God. And if you want that kind of a feeling in your life, everything you touch, every moment that you breathe, everything that you look at, every system that you're a part of, that needs to be crafted. And when it is crafted, it is meaningful. And when the meaning crosses a threshold, when it is so meaningful that it feels like God, that is luxury. That is the simple idea of craft. That is what craft is built around. It's not about money. Money just comes in and goes. It's like a name. It's like it's not even like, I pay you money and then you give me something. That is such a confused way of thinking about money for me, because I gave you money. That's a completely different act from you giving me something. But then in society, in judiciary systems, in financial dynamics, we make it seem like this is an exchange, this is a transaction, when there is no real basis for that. We are providing value to each other in that moment, but we are not exchanging things necessarily. When you think about barter, that's what you think. You think you're exchanging things, but those are two different acts that you are causally relating and you are making a narrative about it. So I'm sorry if I'm getting too harsher right now because I feel very strongly about this. So my idea was that we need to recruit craftspeople. When I heard that um, if I'm born into a craft community and my future is screwed, my future is screwed because no matter how much I put in my effort, my dedication, my devotion to my craft, no matter how much I develop it, only few of us will get the limelight and the stage that we deserve. Only few of us will get the values and the appreciation we deserve, and only few of us will actually be able to raise a household in stable situation. When I'm growing up in an environment, why should I take up the craft that my father practices, or that my mother practices, or that my community practices, my elders practiced? Why should I not get a good education, get an IT job, and then get some more money, get more money than what they were getting, and then show them that hey, that was not good enough after all? In that situation, especially when something that is technologically manufactured and made. When I was in NID, there was this very simple story, simple anecdote. When there was this expert who was looking at fabrics, and then they could not tell the difference between the fabric made by a machine and the fabric made by the craftsperson. And the craftsperson was asked, are you not threatened by this? And then the craftsperson says that, we are masters of technology. You give the technology to us and see what we make. For me, that story stuck because that sort of went to supplement my vision. It sort of said that, yeah, you are on the right path. Because what you want to do, what I want to do, is make sure that these technologies are not competing with the crafted artifact or the craft community, but that craft people and the community can get to the technology to the point where if there is something like blockchain in our system, if there is something like quantum computing, nano computing out there, or something like a biocomputer, then why not get those things for our people, for our craft communities? Why, instead of forcing them to say, hey, this is the C language, this is how you code, this is what you need to do, this is what you need to do, like instead of directing them so much and pressuring them, why not give them what we have and see what they do? Why not let them teach us how to live meaningfully? Because they have something we need. If crafting an environment around us is the goal, if that is meaningful, then isn't that more important than showing off our knowledge or trying to assert our superiority? Isn't that more important than trying to get them to listen to us? So this was this whole idea where you recruit craftspeople and then you bring them to a community level, because just by putting them in a room, they don't become a community, right? You need to cultivate that spirit of a community. And we redesign everything. We are like from scratch. Where is the water coming from? What food are we eating? What are the utensils we use? If there is a computer, why is the computer like this? Think about it. Why does my phone look the same as your phone? Why are we not crafting our devices? Why are we not actually working with the technology that we have? Why are we letting technology use us and distract us from ourselves? Why are we so absent minded? Why can't we redesign the systems around us completely? Where do we sit? If I'm sitting on a cushioned sofa, then do I also sleep on that? Why not? If it's on the floor, does it go on the floor or should it be on the wall? Can I start redesigning my entire environment? Can I redesign all of life itself? And for me, this is very important because the moment you do that, the moment you say that, hey, I have managed to redesign all of life in this little radius, let's say 3 to 4 kilometer radius, or even 1 kilometer radius, in that circle, in that zone, Everything that is going on is sustainable. Think about it. Every second that you live and breathe in that space, you are sustainable. You're using something natural, you're giving back to the earth, you're protecting your ecosystem. Everything is fine in that small little space, in a house, in maybe 4 or 5 meters, in a small circle around you, everything is good. Then you can scale that up. Not copy and force fit it in every nation, but sort of show the approach, show the sensitivity of the human spirit, show that yeah, it was okay for us like this. This is what we wanted to do. This is how we did it. Document it. Something like the United Nations shows it as this is luxury. This is what you need to aspire to. This is your ideal. Because today, when I'm listening to music, I cop that. I got these cars. I got these bitches. I did that. I got this ice. I'm flexing on you. There's nothing wrong with the flex. But what you did get, that's not what we want. That's not what you want. That's not what anybody wants. You want to flex. That's fine. You want to show that you're better. You want to show that your life is more meaningful. That's completely okay. But even you can't get that meaning, can you? No matter what you get in your life, no matter how many things you hold, no matter how many assets you have, no matter what your net worth is, you can't really have that meaning in your life. And if you want meaning, then I feel like this is the way. You need to craft every moment of your interaction needs to be crafted so you are close to God. Or whatever you want to call it, divinity. And even if it's not divinity, meaningful. That's what I mean. That's literally equivalent for me. The most meaningful event of your life, the most meaningful moment of your life. And that was my project. Can we start doing that? Because it takes a lot of effort to do that. If you think about how royalty used to live in your local circumstance, can you scale that up to have everybody in that privileged system? Can you hold and embrace all of the population in such a meaningful life? And if not, why not? We don't have resources for it, or are the resources all in one person's hand or a couple of people's hands, and they don't even know what to do with it other than make it grow, make it grow, make it grow. Growing for what? Growing for when? Growing for whom? Why? It, like, all of this does not make any sense to anyone. And yet, when a plan like this to disrupt that entire system comes, it's not given any importance. That's what I faced at map, and that's what I failed at. Last year I wanted to do this, even if it meant death. I was like, I need to do this project. I need to do this project. I'm going talking to these people. I'm going talking to that people. I'm telling them about this. No one's listening. I'm pitching it. I'm making presentation after presentation. Everyone's like saying, "What are you doing with your life? What have you done with your life? You're still like, you get that you have to commit." And I did commit, and I failed. And I don't know what to make of my life anymore because I was so sure it's going to happen. Everything else didn't happen, that's fine. I don't really care about those things. But this is something I care about. And it did not happen. And I'm in 2025. I keep saying K24, K24, but 2024 is behind me. It's over. It's never going to happen in 2024 unless I tweak with time dynamics in some way. I'm willing to go that far. I'm willing to say that I need to bend time itself so that that happens in 2024. At least to my neural perception. There is a way for me to do that. I'm still not like this is how far gone I am. This is how much of an idealist or a utopian based approach that I have. And for me that's a good thing. So there's like a little snippet of the project was pitched to map. You make all of these presentations, you respond to all of these open calls, and you are working, but you're not being paid. Every day of your life you make art, but no one gives you respect, no one gives you money, and you're just like working your whole life you're working, and then you know that you're the greatest. There's no doubt about that. But then no one else knows. In your eyes, you're the only one who really actually thinks that. And you keep working and working, and then you're going to die. So that's been my life so far. And if that's going to be my life until I die, then wow, that's a little bit of a sad life. But at least I have that feeling. At least I know for sure who I am and what I accomplished. So I'm Gucci with that. I'm good with that. Mm, coming back to my practice. So I keep pitching my practice to all of these people, and I don't know what I'm doing wrong, but it's always the slam door. It's always the no. It's no, there's no, if you say I want to be the greatest artist, I don't know how many people want that. I don't know how many people can claim that for themselves. And if they do claim that, I don't know how many can sit down and have a discussion about it and actually reason out why this is so. How many can actually provide the evidence for it and not just delusion? And when I say evidence, I don't mean how many shows have you done. I've done one show, and that was a solo show that I had to do on my own because I don't want to share a space, and no one's giving me the space. Even the most experimental of places, they say no to me. Like, I don't even understand on what ground you're saying no. Is it because you smell success? Is it because you see that I'm unstoppable, that I'm going to do what I said I'm going to do? Is it because I said I am someone and then I am actually that someone that you want to stop me for a little while longer? And people keep giving me reasons why my plan's not going to work. I don't even know why they try because I'm not ever going to change how I think. No matter what people say, hey, this is not going to work, that's not going to work, this is for that reason. I have to say thank you because you're showing me another stupid angle that this is how people think. This is how maybe a neurotypical person thinks, that this is not going to work for this and this reason. Or maybe that's the limiting factor that stops you from pursuing your own dreams, from saying that I could do it too. And for me, those things are not really there. For me, it's not a choice like how I need to make it. I'm gonna make it. That's pretty much how I think. So all of these things are never really going to come for me naturally. So I have to have all these interactions, and then they put these obstacles in front of me, and then I have to push them aside. And I of course I get a little better because when I wanted to sell for 23 crore rupees many years ago, I did not have a terms of sales. Then I had to get a terms of sales. Then I had to reason out how do I make this legal? It's a lot of money. Then I need to register myself as a company. What is my company exactly doing? What are we going to do? So now I have to think about that. Now I've fixed my tax thing. If I need to buy an island, I can't just buy it with 23 crore rupees. I need to slowly build an empire. I need to grow that wealth to the point where I can get the island. So where do I base myself first? How much tax am I going to pay when this comes as my income? Is there a way to legally reduce that? So I'm thinking about these things at this age. I don't know what I'm going to think next year if I'm still there. So I'm slowly getting better, or the idealist has to come down to the practical level, at which point I'm saying this is what needs to be done, that's what needs to be done, and this is how I'm going to pitch it to people. The other thing I faced is this is not only for me, because when the money comes, one of the first things I'm going to do is start putting it back into my art. Get a building that I've been dreaming of getting since I was a kid, and show my work there, and then open that. It's like a store where everything's that's on sale is never going to be sold for less than 23 crore rupees, and that's going to be in my terms of sales. It's not a game of speculative market appraisals. People don't just get to put it in an auction and say who bids for how much, who bids for that much. Let's undersell. No, let's give it away. Let's just make it a way to move money. No, it's not going to be a game of tax evasion. It's not going to be money laundering. I don't want to play with those things any. Like, I don't want art to have that heritage, because it does have that heritage and it doesn't need to. Art can be valuable. Art can be used as an asset and still retain its aesthetic properties. The asset itself is an aesthetic property of art today, and that is something that is the crew of my concept. That is what my concept is. art as an aesthetic object, but also an asset class. So, of course, when I try to tell these people that this is what I'm doing, I am not selling a work for 23 crore rupees. Rather, my act of selling for 23 crore rupees is my work. Try to really understand that. I am not giving you a piece of paper and then saying, give me 23 crore rupees for that. No. From the moment that we talk, from the moment that we say, hey, I exist, you exist, blah, 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 I'm going to sell for 23 crore rupees. Oh, are you? What kind of terms? These are my terms. Oh, from where is it going to be? Where will the title be transferred? What exactly are you going to, which medium are you going to fix this value in? Because legally, you need to fix it in a medium apparently. You remember my stick and sand notation, or in my head I can make art, but then can I sell that, or do I need to bring that to a medium? That moment, the moment where you sign, the moment where people get to know, the people say that this happened, when they photograph or videograph, it goes up on the internet, somebody puts it on Internet Archive, somebody puts it on Wikipedia, somebody is documenting this whole thing, the papers have it. All of these moments, that is my artwork. Not giving you something, or not what I drew, not what is left because I lived. If I moved like this and it left a mark, that is not my artwork necessarily. In that moment, it was art, but I'm not selling that. Rather, my act of selling, the conceptual performative act of selling for 23 crore rupees, that is my artwork. And for me, that is it's been a huge problem to get that across to people, because for some reason, no matter how many times I say it, they're not understanding. I don't know what am I missing. Am I, because if I show you something, a media, then you start comparing it, right? You start thinking, oh, that person did it, oh, this person did it, oh, that person did it. You're looking for what is new in art, and it's not in front of your eyes. It's not what you can hear. It's really what you feel and cerebrally think. You feel because you think through this kind of work. And that's what I want to bring back to art, the intellect. It's not a decoration. It doesn't go with your curtains. It's not something you put on your it's not something that you necessarily just look at and pass on by. It's something that you carry with you. It's something that you think about. It's something that you solve like an obsessed puzzle master. It's something that you play with, tinker. It's a game that you enter, like life itself. And that's my work. This whole legacy that I've built, all of these works that have survived, and rest in peace to the ones that are gone, because I don't know how much of, in terms of literally weight, I don't know how many kilos of my work have just disappeared prematurely. And they were really good too. What has survived is an archive. I'm not going to sell these works, because honestly, at this point, if nothing else, then I've suffered so much that I don't even want to give anyone a chance to look at my work anymore. I want to say I want to say I want to say fuck you. That's my revenge. Why the fuck did you not? Why do you make me wait so long? I wanted a jet when I was 18. Now I'm 25. I'm going to turn 25. Every year after year, I have struggled to get to this point, and I'm still not where I want to be. And if now somebody wants my work, what am I supposed to say? Where were you all these years? Where were you all these years is what I want to say. So I don't want to give my work. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put all of this on sale, and I'm going to transfer the titles of copies. I'm going to give you a certificate of authenticity. I'm going to build a legitimate platform. I wanted to use blockchain. I don't know how secure that is anymore, but I wanted to use blockchain so that all of us know that this transaction happened. And then, even years down the line, centuries down the line, we still must know that this transaction happened. We must know who owns the work, at what price, and all of this information must be transparent, because we don't want to launder money through this. No. We want to declare that there is something valuable in life itself. There's something valuable in art itself. And we want to bring that wealth back to our country, to our land, through that system of value called art. We want to use art as a vehicle to reclaim what is ours. And we want to stop, like, you want to go with your repatriation acts, you want to fight back to get our sacred relics. Do that. I'm not interested in that anymore, because my sacred relic is the people who are alive. When I see craftspeople with so much talent, and they have to sell for 100 rupees, they have to sell for 300 rupees, and that also because somebody bargained it down. They say, I want 500 because I need to buy food for today, I need to buy food for this week. And then the customer is like, nah, I can't give you 500, bring it down to 350. Okay, 350. What about 300? No, 350. No, I'm going to give you 300. No, I don't want it. Okay, 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 please give me 300. Okay. You see this, and it sickens me. What if I gave them an opportunity? What if I put my money back into the soil? What if I put my money and my wealth back into our nation, and we have our golden age? What if our ancestors did not make the best works? What if they did not make the best temples or the best sculptures? What if we could have made them right now with the people that are around us? What if the bell makers who are making bells right now in the furnace, they're actually making the most beautiful, exquisite sounds, and we are underselling them, undervaluing them, and we are not giving them the value that they deserve? For me, that is the problem. Why can't I bring back wealth for all of us? You can't sell for 23 crore rupees. Don't sell. I can sell for 23 crore rupees. I'm going to do it. Your guy 20 doesn't sell for that much. Throw your guy 20 away, or let me make a path. Let me create the bridge. Let me set a new precedent, so that once Tushar Leela sells for that much, everyone can sell for that much. Because if no one has done that before, then I know that is why I suffered this much, because no one does that before. So I need to be one of the first people to do that. Not when I'm dead. Not so that my work goes to some estate or some disguised charity. I want to be alive when all of this happens. Try to understand that. I'm sorry. So that's part of my idea, I guess, to bring back wealth, to use art to do this. I don't know any other way. I don't know any other way to live. Let's say that I don't make any money. Let's say that nothing changes for me, that I put out all of these videos, I've talked about it passionately, I've been to all of these places, I've left those memorable scars in every single space that I've been. They're going to remember me. And then nothing changes for me. I live, I die. That's it. I'm not going to stop making my work. I'm not going to change anything about it. Someone says art's not going to sell anymore. There's nothing as art. Nothing changes for me. I'm still going to do what I'm doing. But I just think that, I'm not the only one who's going to benefit from my success. Yes, I'm going to benefit. Yes, my family is going to benefit like crazy. But I'm not even that selfish about this. Like, if you think about it, um people have told me so many times, why don't you just sell your work for 10,000 rupees? You are not going to start a career if you don't sell for less, and that is my problem. Can you imagine how insane it must be to just say, I won't sell, I won't sell, I won't sell, I won't sell, only 23 crore rupees. If you're not going to give me that, then go to hell, close the door, just leave me alone. That's how I've been living. And because of that, I can't even open a door, because the people with that much money don't cross paths with me on the daily. And I'm just stuck, because I'm not going to sell for less. And then I don't know I don't know who would actually buy that for that much the first time. Literally, one person needs to buy, and then everything starts. That's my position right now. And I don't know why the people don't support me. I don't know why, like, if I do put all of this on Instagram or do put this out, I don't know why no one feels this. I don't know why no one says, wow, okay, you're doing something and we need to support you. Because someone knows someone who knows someone. That's how it works. If everybody started talking about this, if everybody started, repping for me and pushing my agenda to the broader public, it should enter the consciousness. Then what could happen? If one of these idiot gallerists gave me a show, what would have happened? Would they have lost that much money? Would they have lost a reputation? Would they have really, would anything really change for them in the negative sense? Or would they be part of a historic art movement that was really grassroots, that really started from here? Would they be able to say that, hey, Tushar Leela, I made Tushar Leela, I made them? Would they be able to say that? And I think a lot of people just want that in art to be immortalized, because I'm going to be immortal. And you want to ride my wave, then you keep up with the pace.